This is just par for the course. I don't know why any of us are surprised.
She made a mistake.
Even if it's 100% innocent, how could you be so tone deaf?
It was primarily social and about our travels. He mentioned the golf he played in Phoenix.
We are supposed to believe here that Bill Clinton, a 70-year-old man with a history of heart trouble, played golf in Phoenix, where it was 108, 110 degrees.
Our conversation was a great deal about his grandchildren.
Sources say the private meeting at the airport lasted around 30 minutes. Okay, how many grandkids does Clinton have?
A lot of Americans feel that this investigation's in the tank anyway.
It just looks like the fix is in.
They're not fools. They had to know that if this were uncovered, this would be the normal reaction to have. So, who benefits here?
Well, it's getting worse. Outrage growing over the talks on the tarmac. I'm talking about Attorney General Loretta Lynch and President Bill Clinton and their private jet meeting on Monday. Why would they meet? Well, it just got worse. On Wednesday, 2 days after their tarmac meeting, the DOJ asking a federal judge to stall for 27 more months the required production of thousands of emails from Secretary Clinton's top aides to the Clinton Global Initiative. Colonel Alan West is standing by, but first, just moments ago, Texas Senator John Cornyn went on the record. Senator, nice to have you join us.
Good to be with you.
Senator, I don't think this is a close one, but I'll let you go first. What are your thoughts about the Attorney General of the United States meeting privately with President Bill Clinton?
Well, it looks really bad, Greta, and as you know, as a lawyer, it's not just the actual impropriety, it's the appearance of impropriety. And, of course, just another reason why I don't think Loretta Lynch should take the lead in this investigation, but should rather appoint a special counsel, which is designed to provide a little bit of independence so that the public can be reassured that justice will be done and not just politics.
Well, I'm a little, you're quite, I guess, more reasonable than I am on this. I'm a little hotter under the collar because I see this as profoundly awful. It's like meeting with a judge privately during the trial. This is a moment when she's going to have to make decisions whether to send the case to the grand jury or not. She's a lot of big decisions, and she's given all of Secretary Hillary Clinton's political enemies ammunition. And she knows better, and the best she could do with a statement was say that it was primarily social. I don't know what primarily means, but to me it's astounding for the Attorney General of the United States to do this.
Well, I agree with you, and it's really part of a larger narrative about the Clintons just acting like the rules that apply to you and everybody else don't apply to them. And certainly I would not have expected Attorney General Lynch, being a professional prosecutor that she is, to make a mistake like this. But it was a very serious mistake. I think it undermines public confidence that she's going to be a impartial prosecutor when it comes to the referral from the Department of Justice on the Hillary Clinton email affair. And I think she needs to hand it off to a special prosecutor.
You know, I don't think that the discussion was inappropriate, because in my wildest dreams, I can't believe those two would do that, because that's really over the charts bad. Meeting, though, was also over the charts bad. I'm not in favor of special prosecutor, but I think she should make a public statement today, removing herself from this investigation and assigning it to her number two, who's Sally Yates, a career prosecutor. You don't think that that's the good route to go?
Well, I think that would be a good step, but I think there's a statutory special counsel provision, as you know, that applies in cases like this where the independence of the Department of Justice and the Attorney General herself in this instance is reasonably questioned. I think she just provided additional rationale for that, but what you suggested would be a step and would, I think, help reassure people that she's going to handle this well. The problem still persists, though. As you know, the Attorney General serves at the pleasure of the President of the United States. The President does not want this investigation over Hillary Clinton's email to go any further than the FBI. We still need to see what the FBI is going to do. I have confidence in Director Comey and the professionalism of the FBI, but I really worry when it comes to the politicalization at the Department of Justice. Unfortunately now, Loretta Lynch has just thrown another log on the fire.
Well, she certainly has poisoned the investigation, and no matter which way you fall on this story, is that we want an honest and fair one that isn't poisoned by, even the appearance of impropriety. If she refuses to assign it to recuse herself and assign it to her deputy, or refuses to look for a special prosecutor, should the president do anything? Because we all know where this leads if she stays on the case.
Absolutely. And I think one of the biggest problems Mrs. Clinton has is people don't trust her. They don't believe she's trustworthy. They believe that the self-dealing that they've seen reported between the Clinton Foundation and she when she was Secretary of State, all of this creates a very negative impression. And I think we need to make sure that the air can be cleared as much as possible. This would reassure a lot of people if Loretta Lynch, the Attorney General, would just step up and do the right thing here. Either what you suggested, which I think would be a step in the right direction, or appoint a special counsel. I think both of those would be an improvement.
If she does neither, should her boss, President Obama, say anything or do anything?
Well, President Obama has already claimed that he knows what the outcome of the investigation is, and we've been told by Director Comey that there is no communication between the FBI agents and the White House. So it's clear the president is trying to preordain the outcome of this by saying he knows things he doesn't know, and he's going to use all the influence he can to make sure that this indictment under the Espionage Act never occurs. So we know that politics is there. What we had not seen until now is really the terrible judgment on the part of the Attorney General to engage in this private conversation with the husband of the target of this investigation, and give the impression that here again the rules don't apply to the Clintons like they apply to everybody else.
I actually think this is unfair to Secretary Clinton, because if it turns out that she did nothing wrong, violated no statute, that this investigation will be further poisoned by the fact that her husband and the Attorney General spoke. If I were Secretary Clinton, I would say if the Attorney General doesn't step aside or appoint a special prosecutor, she doesn't recuse herself, if I were Secretary Clinton, I would ask that she do that. I would make a public statement, because if she really can't afford to have this investigation dirtied up with all that.
Well, I agree that the appearances are bad either way. If she's vindicated, or if she's, which she claims she has a right to be vindicated, then this casts a further cloud over the investigation. Or if she's really is worried about it, which I think she should be based upon the deposition testimony, including the claiming of the Fifth Amendment by the fellow who set up this private email server. They think obviously they got some problems, or they would not have taken the Fifth Amendment, claiming a right against self-incrimination. So this gets worse and worse for her. I just think this is icing on the cake, and either way, I think we need a special counsel or some separation between the Attorney General.
If you were back at your old job as Attorney General in Texas, would you take yourself off the case? That's one question. Or if you're in your old job as the Justice on the Supreme Court and the issue came before you, is there any doubt in your mind that Attorney General Lynch should get off this case in some manner?
No doubt in my mind. I think it's the right thing to do. If she cares about the public impression of the even-handed administration of justice, which I believe she does, then she'd realize that she's tainted the investigation one way or the other, and really, in an effort to restore public confidence, that she ought to step down.
To me, it's just, the whole thing is just appalling, and that's why lawyers are up in arms, because and lawyers more than anybody else are appalling for the Attorney General to do this. Anyway, Senator, nice to see you, sir.
Thanks, Greta.